Well. What do we have here? The transfer deadline day live. Well, oh my word. I originally said that I was going to do it between 4 and 5. Couldn't get it working because I've not done a live stream for about 4 months, but we're finally here. And we will still be on for an hour between about 4:30 and 5:30 this time. So I hope you guys enjoy it. But let's see what's coming up in today's show. Coming up in Deadline Day Live. Want to watch reviews of the 3 players chosen for FIFA 19, including Cristiano Ronaldo, Leon Goretzka and Thomas Lemar. How good were these signings? The best and the worst Premier League teams based on their performances in the transfer market. That's a top 10 and a bottom 10. Extended reviews of each of Liverpool's 4 new signings: Shaqiri, Fabinho, Alisson and Keita. And the top 20 transfers this summer is still to come. My list of the best 20 transfers throughout the whole window. And of course there will be live updates of what is going on right now throughout the show. Right then. So I want to start by having a look. Well, to be fair, there's only one place to start. So I want to start by having a look at Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, Ronaldo is transferred for approximately £100 million, which is ridiculous, to be honest. He's gone from Real Madrid to Juventus. It's the biggest signing. It's one of the biggest signings ever. So, obviously, we're going to have to start with this. Now, the one-to-watch cards in FIFA 19, 3 of them have been released so far: Ronaldo, Lemar and Goretzka. This is by far the biggest one of the lot. Cristiano Ronaldo, what does that mean? If he joins, once he's joined Juventus, if he wins the Champions League with Juventus, then he will go down as the greatest of all time. This will be ridiculous. Real Madrid have won it for the last 3 years, and now Cristiano Ronaldo, if he wins it with Juventus, he will go down as the best in history. So this is an absolute mammoth transfer. I think it's a very good transfer for Juventus. Yes, he's 33 years old, but he's still got so much to offer. And with age, he's just getting better and better and better. Cristiano Ronaldo, tell you what, he's such a quality player these days. He's just as good as he was 10 years ago. Unlike Messi, Messi's starting to go off the boil a bit, as we saw at the World Cup, but Ronaldo is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Therefore, Ronaldo, for me, will be the greatest of all time if he wins the Champions League. But it's not just Ronaldo. We've got so many other players that have moved in this transfer window, including to Premier League teams, to European teams. There's so many big players that can make a difference. And I would like to do some feature-length videos on the Liverpool signings. Now, of course, Liverpool's my team, and Liverpool has signed 4 big players, including Shaqiri, Keita, Fabinho, and Alisson Becker. So I've prepared a short little montage of all Shaqiri's best moments and what I think of his move to Liverpool. Let's have a look. Shaqiri. So then, the first of 4 Liverpool players that I will be reviewing is that man, Xherdan Shaqiri, the cheapest of the 4. Now, I will be using a system that I have uniquely and ingeniously named VAR. Yeah, I know, it sounds very interesting, doesn't it? Well, the way I will be judging all 4 Liverpool players is using this system. V for value for money, the A for their ability, and the R for required. So are they really necessary to be signed for the team? Now, obviously I'll be giving them a mark out of 10 for each of the 3 stats, and then they will have a mark out of 30 overall. And that is how I'll compare the 4 Liverpool players and see which do I think has been the best signing. So, of course, with Shaqiri, we'll start with the V, which is value for money. Now, we got him for something about £13 million, which is an absolute bargain. He's still only 26 years old, and despite the fact that he's the oldest of the signings, he's still got a lot of potential and a lot of years left to play. He can be playing for another 10 years yet. Like, he's got loads of years ahead of him, so the age is not an issue at all. But we got him so cheap, and he's a quality player that we do need. So I've got to give him somewhere around about a 9 out of 10. So we're starting high. 9 out of 10 for value for money. Out of the 4 players, he's probably the best value for money because we got him so cheaply. The A is for ability. Now, in his ability, he's clearly a very skillful player. He's clearly a very good passer of the ball. And, of course, he can score long shots from outside the box and all sorts of goals, just like that one right there. So he's clearly got the talent, alright? He's a quality player, but so are all 4 of the signings. So the only way we can distinguish between all 4 is by declaring one of them as the most skillful and necessary and, you know, quality player, and the least. And unfortunately, Shaqiri, out of the 4 players, is probably the least. It's probably got the least ability of the 4, and that's hard to say because he's a very good player. I think about 8 goals and 7 assists last season, but unfortunately that is the case. I will still give him a 7 out of 10 for ability because he's still a very good player, but he's not as good as the other 3, so just a 7 on ability. The last of the 3 stats I'll be using is he required? Is he really required for the team? And in this one, I'll be giving him a 7 out of 10, okay? So a 7 out of 10 in required, which basically means that he is a necessary player. We've been looking for a backup to the likes of Mane, Salah and Firmino for well, all of last season, to be honest, because if one of them got injured, we had to rely on the likes of Ings or Solanke. But Shaqiri, with his clearly good communication and teamwork, as we can see there with Keita, and Shaqiri is just a great backup because he's so much better than Ings or Solanke that if one of the front 3 does get injured, we can so easily rely on him. So there we go, Shaqiri. For me, it's got to be a 7 out of 10 required. We do need a backup, and he is a very adequate backup. So overall, this is the score that I've given it out of 30. It is 23 combined, 9 on the value for money, 7 for ability, and 7 for required. Will he top the table at the end, or will one of the other 3 win overall? Well, you'll have to keep watching to find out, but Shaqiri gets 23 out of 30. So, Shaqiri on 23 points, and over the course of this live stream, I'll be doing the montages for the other 3 Liverpool signings, and we'll see which I think has been the best signing. But before that, it's time for our first live update of the episode, and I want to talk about what's been going on in Transfer Deadline Day. That's what the name of the stream is, so that's what I'm going to be giving you. What's been going on in Transfer Deadline Day? Well, Chelsea have signed Kovacic on loan from Real Madrid, whereas Courtois has gone to Real Madrid. So those are the 2 big stories of the day. The main one, of course, being Courtois, because Chelsea signed a keeper called Keeper for £71 million, activating his release clause, and Courtois has been sold to Real Madrid on a 6-year deal. So that has been the main news for today. But, of course, in return, Chelsea get Kovacic on loan. Will Kovacic be useful? I think he will be useful. He will be used in the squad, definitely. But probably not as useful as the likes of Jorginho, who's their main signing this summer for me. Not the most expensive, obviously, because Keeper was more expensive, but I think Jorginho is the main signing. So many teams wanted Jorginho, but Chelsea are the ones that got him. So, well done to Chelsea for getting him, but he's their main signing this summer. In terms of the other news for today, in this live update, the Spurs boss, Pochettino, says he is so happy despite his lack of signings. I don't know what he's on about. I don't think that Spurs are going to make the Champions League if he doesn't make any more signings. They are running out of time so fast, and I don't think they will be making any signings. So, if they get any injuries, they are absolutely screwed for the season. In other news, United boss Mourinho has said that he is not confident of getting any more signings. He thinks that the team will stay as it is. However, there are still rumours flying around about Alderweireld and Maguire. There's literally a quarter of an hour left to go in the transfer window over these 12 weeks. I know a lot of signings are left very late or left right to the wire, but I don't think United will be signing anyone else. So that was the first live update of the episode. Are there going to be any more signings in his final quarter of an hour? I'm honestly not sure, but I don't think so. That's what I think. Anyway, based on the signings that we have seen so far, though, which 10 teams of the Premier League have been the worst? Out of all 20, which have been the worst of the lot in terms of the signings they've made? I think we know who the worst is, but what would I put in a top 10? Well, these are the worst 10 clubs based on how they performed in the transfer window. So then, Here we go. Here are the worst 10 Premier League teams based on how they've done in the transfer window. So we will start at the 10th worst, which is pretty much the 11th best, as there are only 20 teams in the Premier League. So over the worst 10 Premier League clubs and the best 10 Premier League clubs, all 20 clubs will feature at some point. But in the worst, we have Huddersfield around mid-table at 10th place, 10th from bottom. Now what they've done is they've brought in the likes of Ramadan, likes of Durham, decent signings. They've also lost a few players, so I don't really see that they've strengthened that much, but they haven't really weakened either. So you know they're a bit. They've not had the best transfer window, but at the same time they've not had the worst. In 9th from bottom we have Leicester City. Now they have made some brilliant signings, like Pereira is a great right back, Johnny Evans is a really useful centre back, he'll help the defence. Danny Ward is a backup keeper, very good. Madison is an excellent player, but they lost Mahrez, and that's what's killed it for Leicester. The fact that they've lost Riyad Mahrez, yes, to be fair, he was always going to go, and what they've done with the money they got for him is brilliant. Like, they've done as best as they could with that situation, but the fact that they've lost, arguably their best player, means I can't really put them any higher up than here. 12th overall and 9th from bottom. Into 8th we have Brighton, and they've brought a lot of players in, but they've also got rid of a lot of players, and to be quite honest, I probably can't tell you who any of these players are that they've brought in. Yeah, or even got rid of. I don't know any of the players, but the fact that they brought in a lot of players, they're probably at Brighton's level, they'll probably be used at the start 11, means that it doesn't look like they've weakened, they've probably strengthened slightly, so they've not had the worst transfer window, but they've not had the best either, because they've not brought in any big signings like some of the newly promoted teams have. Into 7th from bottom, we have Everton, and Everton have brought in two main signings, Richarlison and Digne. Richarlison had an awful second half of the season, so how Watford have got £35 million for him is unbelievable. And even Digne is not that good. They've got Leighton Baines anyway, I think, so I don't know what the problem is there, why they can't use him, but they've got Digne as either a backup or a starter, so they've not made the best two big deals, and then they've lost a lot of players, including the likes of Wayne Rooney, who was their best player for the first half of last season. Everton have not had a good transfer window, and that is why I'm putting them 7th from bottom. Into 6th, we have Watford, and Watford have made some decent deals. You know, Deulofeu is good, Ben Foster, but they have lost a lot of players, including Richarlison, who was their best player in the first half of last season, despite going off the boil in the second half. So Watford really haven't strengthened that much. They already had Deulofeu on loan anyway, so considering he's the biggest signing, that's probably not the best news. They've already had him before. It's not been a brilliant transfer window for Watford, and to be honest, based on my Premier League predictions, I could see them going relegated. In 5th place we have Southampton, who have spent a fair bit of money. They've lost some very good players like Tadic and Classy and Boufal on loan, and Tadic was actually sold for £10 million to Ajax, but the players they brought in, £13.5 million for Angus Gunn. That is unbelievable. How have they spent that much? He's not that good at all. A City youngster goalkeeper. And then the other signings, they've spent some solid money on players that I don't even know who they are. I don't know, they could be really good, but it doesn't really look that promising for Southampton. I think they're going to stay up this season, but they might struggle. Into 4th from bottom, when we have Newcastle United, they've not done that well. They've not spent any money. They've got likes of Ki-Sung Young on loan, they've got Salman Rondon on loan, but they've got rid of Dwight Gale, and I don't really understand that. Why are they getting rid of a better striker in Dwight Gale for Rondon? It's pretty much a straight swap, because Rondon's being loaned in and Gale's being loaned out back to West Brom. It's not really that good for Newcastle. So I don't really see what they're doing with that, and the rest of the deals aren't that high caliber at all. They've not spent any money, and Rafa Benitez wanted the backing of obviously the boards, and he wanted a load of money to spend in this transfer window, and he's not been able to spend any money at all, so he's not had a very good transfer window at all, and that is why I'm putting Newcastle 4th from bottom. Into the bottom 3, and we have Bournemouth at 3rd from bottom. They've made one big money signing, and it's Rico. Who is Rico? I'm sorry, I'm saying I don't know a lot of these players, but they've spent £10 million on a guy I don't even know who he is, and like they've got rid of a lot more players than they brought in. They got rid of the likes of Benica Phoebe, who's a very good player, and they've sold him to a rival in Wolves. They've not done well at all this transfer window, Bournemouth, and despite having a good manager, they could potentially go down. I wouldn't be surprised if they went down. I would back them to just about stay up, but I tell you what, one thing's for sure, they will be in a relegation scrap. second from bottom, we have Burnley. Now, Burnley have only made 2 signings. One of them is Joe Hart. Why did they need Joe Hart? They got Nick Pope, and I think they've still got Tom Heaton as well. And then the other one is Gibson for £15 million. That is grossly overpriced. And considering Burnley are going into Europa League football next season, that is quite embarrassing, that transfer window. They've lost a lot of players, including some pretty decent players like Arfield, and I know Josh Ginley showed promise. He's a good young talent. Obviously the legend Dean Marney. So they have got rid of quite a lot of players this window and only brought in, you know, a centre back and a new goalkeeper that they don't really need. So I'm not sure about this transfer for Burnley. I don't think Sean Dyche has done very well. He's still a great manager. His team will probably still do well because they've still held on to the best players. But considering they're in Europa League football, unless they get kicked out early, they may struggle in the Premier League. And finally, we have the worst transfer record of the lot. Which team has done the worst? It has to go to Tottenham Hotspur. They have signed no one. They are the only team in the Premier League to have signed literally no one. They've got rid of 2 players that they never used anyway, and I don't know how much money for them, but they can't have got that much. They might as well not had a transfer window. It's been an absolute disaster for Tottenham Hotspur. I still think they'll make top 6, but I'll tell you what, I don't think they'll make top 4. If they get an injury to Harry Kane or Christian Eriksen or Dele Alli or Heung-min Son, maybe even Lamela, if they get an injury to one of them, then they're absolutely screwed for the whole season. So Spurs have had a dreadful, dreadful transfer window. And I tell you what, they really do need to avoid injuries this season, otherwise they might not even get top 6. So they are what I think, those are the worst 10. And the best 10 clubs will be coming soon. So then, that is what I thought. I thought that Spurs are the worst transfer window. I think that's fair to say. They've not signed anyone. The manager may be happy, but it doesn't really make any odds for me whatsoever. I don't care how happy the manager is. They've had an awful transfer window because they've signed no one, whereas everyone else has signed someone. Earlier on, I said that I was going to review the one-to-watch players in FIFA 19. They're the three big signings that were released by EA with their new cards. We've already done Cristiano Ronaldo, the biggest of the lot. Let's go to the second biggest and review Lemar. Now, was Lemar really that good a deal? He went from Monaco to Atletico Madrid, but it cost about £70 million. Well, from the point of view of Monaco, it's a pretty awful deal. They're losing a lot of their best players very quickly. They've lost the likes of Mbappe last season, the likes of what's his name, Mendy to Manchester City, they lost Bakayoko, now they've lost Fabinho to Liverpool, now they've lost Lemar. Are they really replacing these quality players with good enough players? I don't think so, personally. As far as Atletico Madrid goes, 70 million euros, so I think that's somewhere about £60 million. It's quite a lot of money, but he is a very good player. I would have happily taken that amount of money for Liverpool as a Liverpool fan. But for Atletico Madrid, they're getting their hands on a very good player. And he's good at defending. Like, his defending is, considering he's a winger, his defending is pretty good, and that's helpful for Atletico Madrid, who sit tight, defend, and then break with pace, and they've got Griezmann up front. But if Lemar can do some defensive duties and then break with all his pace as well, that could be really, really handy for Atletico Madrid. So, to be honest, I don't think the €70 million price tag is that bad. I think Monaco have done badly, but Atletico Madrid have done well to get their hands on a very, very good player that I would have easily taken for Liverpool. Right then, earlier on I did a Shaqiri montage welcoming Shaqiri to Liverpool, and I gave him 23 out of 30. So what do I think that he was the best signing? Well, it's time to find out as we join part 2 and we go to the Fabinho montage. Enjoy. The next review is Fabinho. Let's go. So then, it is Fabinho, the defensive midfielder from Monaco, that is next to be reviewed. Now, for just £40 million, I know it sounds a lot, but it is the second cheapest of all Liverpool's signings. But we are getting ourselves a really handy player, a very, very good player. He can dribble, he can move the ball quickly, he can think quickly, he can anchor that midfield, he's got strength, tackling ability, he's got it all as Fabinho. He can even take penalties. He's a brilliant player all round, and Liverpool have done really well to sign him, especially considering United United was so interested. He's only 24 years old, so he's got so many years left, and hopefully he'll spend a lot of them at Liverpool if he plays well. And for £40 million, you know, it's worth buying. So to be honest, I know Shaqiri was a lot cheaper, but Shaqiri isn't as good as him. So I'm only going to give Shaqiri 1 more point on value for money than Fabinho. Fabinho can have an 8 out of 10. Shaqiri, of course, got the 9, as we discovered earlier on. But yeah, Fabinho needs an 8 out of 10 just because he's so good. And for his ability, therefore, it's got to be at least a 9. Like, it's going to be at least a 9, maybe even a 10 for his ability. He's so good, and I think he's going to be brilliant at Liverpool. So yeah, a 9 for his ability, and we had 8 for value for money. Now, the other part of my VAR scheme is he required? Do we really need another defensive midfielder? And the answer to that is yes, I'll take one. We need a defensive-minded midfielder more than another attacking-minded midfielder, but we do already have the likes of Jordan Henderson, who I'm happy for him to play. Milner can play defensive mid or attacking mid. Gino Wijnaldum can play defensive mid, although I would prefer Fabinho to all of these players. So do we really need a defensive midfielder? Well, yes, we could do with one, but there are positions that we need new players in. A lot more than defensive midfield, so I'm still going to give it a 7 out of 10 for required, but overall that gives him a good score. So Fabinho, where does that put him on the overall leaderboard? It puts him top. He's on 24 out of 30, 8 for value for money, 9 for ability, and 7 for required. Only 1 point higher than Shaqiri overall though, because of Shaqiri's high value for money. But overall, Fabinho is so far Liverpool's best signings, but we've got 2 still to come. Can anyone top it? Well, we're going to find out soon. So then, Fabinho has overtaken Shaqiri overall. And it is time for our second update of the live news. Well, we are back with some live news. And actually, with just a few minutes left to go in the transfer window, there is a new signing. A new signing in the Premier League. Who, I hear you ask? Well, it is a Brazilian winger called Bernard, who has signed for Everton. He's a left winger. And it's out of the blue. Like, I gave Everton in the worst 10. They were the worst 10 in the worst 10 teams overall for their transfer window. But after signing this guy, maybe they should be going up a bit. So yeah, he's Brazilian. He's apparently a very quick player. His transfer history: he's played for Shakhtar Donetsk. He's played for Democrata, Atletico MG. I don't know what that is, but his career stats, I mean, he's played a lot of games he's played 25 Champions League games, to be fair to him, 3 goals and 3 assists in that time, so they've got someone that's played in the Champions League before, so that's not too bad for Everton. So Everton haven't really done too badly right there. So yeah, I think Everton have done a pretty decent job signing him. That might push them up the overall rankings for the top 20 teams in the Premier League, but it still wouldn't get them anywhere near the top for me. So that was the second live update, and I tell you what, there's only 2 minutes left in the transfer window. So let me know in the chat, everyone that's watching, both of you, let me know in the chat. Do you think there's going to be a last-minute signing? Has any club made a signing and they've just waited till the last minute to release it, or even after the transfer window shuts? Do you think anyone is going to do it? Well, hello. Everton have signed someone else. They've signed Mina for €30 million. Whoa, Everton are bringing it out now. With literally 2 minutes to go, Everton have signed a new player, and this one was the one that scored against England in the World Cup with that header. But to be fair to him, he had a very, very good World Cup. He has just joined Everton. That is actually incredible. So Everton have signed 2 players in the last 15 minutes of the transfer window. Now that is dramatic. Why can't we see more teams be doing like that? I'm not asking more teams to be like Everton. I'm just saying, well, more teams, please get signing players. But I think the transfer window is about to shut. So if any transfers need to be done, then they need to be done right now, because the transfer window is shutting in literally 2 minutes. There might still be transfers that are done that we don't know about yet. Then the clubs might just be releasing them after the transfer window to make people think that that's it. That's it now. There's no more transfers. Well, some clubs might be leaving it very, very late to announce some big players. So, that is it for the live update for now. I will do one more live update after the transfer window closes to tell you if any more players have moved. But we have Bernard to Everton and Mina to Everton in these last 10-15 minutes or so. So still to come on my live stream. Still to come on Deadline Day Live. I review the one to watch Goretzka card for FIFA 19. We still have the best Premier League teams in the transfer market this summer to do. The worst is already done, but the best is yet to come. The Shaqiri and Fabinho montages are done, but we still have Alisson Becker and Naby Keita to do. And of course, that main countdown towards the end, the top 20 transfers this summer is yet to come. And I will continue to update you with the live goings on throughout the programme. Well then, that is everything that's still to come as the transfer window officially slams shut. So, I'll do one more update after about 10 minutes or so, just to check that no more deals are going through. But before that, it is time for part 3 of my Liverpool montages. Yes, 4 players signed for Liverpool. We've done Shaqiri. I gave him 23 out of 30. We've done Fabinho. I've given him 24 out of 30. But it is time for the 3rd signing and the 3rd montage. And that belongs to Mr. Naby Keita. Enjoy. So Naby Keita is the 3rd Liverpool player to look at. So I've already looked at Shaqiri and Fabinho earlier on, but now it's time for our new number 8, taken after Steven Gerrard, and it is Naby Keita. So, what do I think is his value for money? Well, he did cost quite a bit of money. Obviously, we actually sorted out the deal at the end of last season in the transfer window, but he's officially joined us now on the 1st of July. But we have to pay for getting towards £60 million for him, so it was quite a lot of money. But is he worth it? Well, he is a very good player. So for value for money, he still deserves a respectable score despite costing so much. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. He's a very, very good player. He's shown it at RB Leipzig. He's great. He's a great dribbler. He's a great finisher. He's a great passer of the ball as well. He's just an all-round very, very good box-to-box midfielder. He's got the creative ability, but the defensive ability too. So he's got it all really for a box-to-box midfielder. So the only reason that I can only give him a maximum of about 7 out of 10 is because he costs so much. In terms of his ability, I mean, it's at least an 8. I know I gave Fabinho a 9, Shaqiri a 7. I'm going to put Keita in the middle. I don't think he's quite as good as Fabinho, what he does, but he is still a world-class player, of course. So I think 8 out of 10, but under Klopp's pressing style, he could absolutely flourish this season. So maybe by the end of the season, we'll be giving him a 10 out of 10 for ability, but 8 for now. Now, the other score, of course, in the VAR scheme is the RS for required. Now, is he that required? Do we really need another attacking midfielder? And the answer to that, unfortunately, is probably no. We need a defensive midfielder a lot more than we need an attacking midfielder. So buying an attacking midfielder, as much as I'm happy that Keita's joined the club, we don't really need one. We've got loads of attacking options, so I'm just going to give him a 6 out of 10 for the is he required? So how does that look overall? Well, on the leaderboard, with a 7 for value for money, an 8 for ability, and a 6 for required, gives him a total of just 21 out of 30, which actually means that compared to Fabinho and Shaqiri, he is Liverpool's worst signing so far. But we still have one to come. Fabinho remains at the top at the moment, but Alisson is yet to come. Will he take the glory? Only time will tell. So, am I fair to put Keita at 3rd place, the worst of the Liverpool signings so far? Is that fair? Because he's definitely not the worst in ability. Yeah, that would probably be Shaqiri, although he did call that brilliant bicycle kick against United. But am I being fair, putting Keita below Shaqiri and Fabinho? Let me know in the live chat who you think should be top. But I can tell you that there is one more deal that has gone through in the last minute, of the transfer window, and I will be telling you that deal in the next live update, which will be coming up in about 10 minutes time or so. Okay, so I'll just leave you in suspense now. Obviously you could just click off the video and check it if you really wanted to, but that's not the point. The point is, stay on my video, because next in the show, you've seen me do the worst Premier League clubs in terms of how they've done in the transfers. Well, it is time to see me do the best 10 Premier League clubs in terms of how they've done for their transfers. So this is the top 10 that I have put together based on how they have done this summer. Enjoy. Right then, you've seen me do the bottom 10 clubs in the transfer window. It's time to do the best 10, the top 10, and we'll start with Manchester United. Yes, I've found a way to get them into my good books into the top 10 by squeezing them in at 10th. And they've not had the best transfer window at all, but they've not had a dreadful one overall. They've got rid of the likes of Blind for £14 million. That's good business. Johnston, I don't know who he is, but he's £6.5 million. That's probably good business. They brought in Dallas, 19 million. Don't know, I think he's just a young defender, I think. And Fred for £47 million. Now he's the big one. £47 million for Fred. Fred's a pretty good player. £47 million is too much, but at least they've strengthened the squad. That signing means that United have strengthened the squad, and it's not been a dreadful transfer window. On to Chelsea in 9th. Now, they've signed one huge player in Rob Green. And also, basically, they signed Jorginho, and that is where they've strengthened this season. Jorginho is a fantastic player. Liverpool tried to get him. Man City tried to get him, but he chose Chelsea for whatever reason. Other than that, though, they've loaned out a lot of players. They got rid of Horton for free. But the big deal is, of course, today, Courtois signed for £35 million. Courtois signed for Real Madrid and on a 6-year deal, and Keeper's £71 million release clause from Athletic Bilbao has been activated by Chelsea. Well, that is big news, isn't it? Chelsea have brought in it must be a good keeper if he's going to go for that much money. I know it's his release clause, so they will have overpaid considering it's a release clause, and they didn't really get enough money for Courtois, but it was the last year of his contract, so there's not a lot they could have done. Only half the price probably for a better keeper, so they've not done brilliantly there, but at least they have found a replacement. So there, you could say 1 in, 1 out, not a disaster. The main strengthening though is probably Jorginho. On to 8th place, we have Cardiff City, and they've got rid of no one. They've brought in the likes of Reed, Smithies, but they've done okay, right? They've got rid of no one. They've strengthened with 4 new players. That can't be a bad thing. You cannot say they've weakened their team because all they've done is signed players. So Cardiff have had a fine window back to the Premier League, and they've made the top 10 for transfers in my opinion because they haven't got rid of anyone. And I think that they're along with I think they're the only team that hasn't got rid of anyone. So that is good news for Cardiff. In 7th place, we have Crystal Palace, who have made a couple of fantastic signings, Kiate and Max Meyer. Meyer from Schalke is a fantastic player, but Kiate is an even better one for me. He was undervalued at West Ham. He's going to Crystal Palace, and he should make a real difference to their defensive midfield positions. They've already got the likes of Milivojevic who can play well. I honestly think this is going to be a good season for Palace under the management of Roy Hodgson. I think they can get a top 10 finish. Palace are in a pretty strong position, and I'm giving them 7th place in terms of their transfers. Into 6th place, we have Man City. Now, City have got rid of a lot of dead wood, fair enough, including Joe Hart and Angus Gunn somehow for £13.5 million, which is phenomenal. But the one big deal that they have completed is signing Mahrez for £60 million. That is where they strengthened. They didn't really need to strengthen their team because it's so good. They got 100 points in the Premier League last season. I don't think they'll do that again, but they have strengthened. They've brought in Mahrez and kicked out of the dead wood. Done nothing wrong for me in this transfer window. City have had a decent one, and I'm giving them 6th place. But there are 5 teams ahead of them, and the first one of those includes Wolves. And look at all the signings they've made. They've got rid of some players, and they've brought in some brilliant players. Traore, 18 million. Phoebe, 10 million, though he's gone out on loan. Willy Bolly for 10 million. Jaume Coutinho is a cracking player for 5 million. They've done exceptionally well to sign all these players as a newly promoted Premier League side. And let's not underestimate the value of Rui Patricio, which they got free from Sporting Lisbon. He's a very, very good keeper. And Wolverhampton Wanderers have got their hands on him. They have had overall a fantastic transfer window, and they should be looking to kick on into mid-table in their first season back in the Premier League. Arsenal are in 4th. Naturally, they've made some great deals though. Let's not beat around the bush. Torreira for £26 million, very good player. Leno for £19.3 million. They've been wanting a new keeper. They've got a new keeper. He's pretty good, slightly better than Cech. We've got Socrates. He's a phenomenal defender, and Lichtsteiner should act as a great coach for Bellerin, who could just do with a bit of coaching. So overall, and to be fair, the players are kicked out. Jack Wilshere, they could have kept him. It's a bit of a shame they kicked him out. Santi Cazorla, they won't use him anymore. Obviously, he's had injury recently, so it's not been that bad. The players that they got rid of, but the players that they brought in have been nothing short of brilliant. Arsenal have strengthened the places they needed to strengthen, and that's defence and the keeper and a really good defensive midfielder. Therefore, I think they've had a very good transfer window and they deserve a place in the top 5. I've given them 4th. But moving on, and we have Fulham, and Fulham have done so well. Back in the Premier League, some of the players they've signed: Mawson, £20 million, Mitrovic, and of course, Andre Schürrle on loan. Yes, they've actually kicked out quite a few players, but some of these players they brought in will prove to be phenomenal, especially when you compare the likes of Schürrle with Sessegnon. The way that they'll interact together in the game could be something special. If those two can can combine well, then we could be on for a really good season for Fulham, and I'll be pushing up the table, maybe pushing up into the top half, because I think Andre Schürrle is so good, and Fulham have done exceptionally well to get their hands on him. Brilliant work from Fulham. But there are 2 teams ahead of Fulham who could have done that well. Well, I'll tell you, for one, West Ham United. West Ham United have done brilliantly well with a lot of these deals that they have got through. They've got the likes of Yarmolenko, great player. Felipe Anderson, he's brilliant. And Jack Wilshere as well. It's just... literally, the list goes on. You can see them all here. It's brilliant. And even on deadline day today, they managed to sign Lucas Perez from Arsenal. He could be useful as a nice backup, or even a starter alongside Marko Arnautovic. West Ham have got a great team, and under David Moyes, they should be able to kick on, maybe even challenge pushing up towards the top 6. I think we could be on for a very good season for West Ham United, a season that they could really do with. But that means in first place, it has to go to Liverpool, and I'm trying not to be biased, but just look at the signings we've made. Fabinho for £39 million, Keita for £48 million, Alisson for 66, and Shaqiri, an absolute bargain of 13. We've kicked out Emre Can, and that's the only really big player that we've kicked out, and Wood for £12.5 million to Leicester. Suppose he could have been good, but we've got a much better keeper now anyway. And so all 4 of these signings should be absolutely wonderful. You look at the likes of United, Chelsea, City, they've signed 1 player of this kind of calibre. We've got 4. It's unbelievable. So I think Liverpool have had the best transfer window, and they could be pushing on, challenging for the league title, and maybe even winning the league. So there we go. Those are the best 10 Premier League clubs in terms of how they've done in the transfer window. So that is what I thought. I'm trying not to be biased, but I had to put Liverpool at number 1. I mean, like, we've made the best deals. Like, you can't even argue with it. We have made the best deals. So Liverpool have been the best team so far for me in the transfer window, and I'm sure I've got to say we are definitely title contenders this season. We are going to be challenging City. I put City at 6th, obviously strengthening with Mahrez, but Liverpool have done so well. 4 big deals, and we still have the montage for 1 more to go, Alisson, and that will be coming up a little bit later. But before that, it is time for another live update. The penultimate live update. The final one will be right at the end of the show, but the penultimate live update, and we do have some transfers to get through. But first, someone in the chats, Ghost Masala, has said that I've not been given Jahanbakhsh enough credit. So I thought, you know what, let's do a bit of research on this geezer and see if he's any good. Well, I can tell you, his Europa League scorer. He's appeared in the Europa League how many times? 8 times, and he scored a goal. He spent most of his time in the Eredivisie, 112 appearances in there, and he scored 39 goals and got 31 assists. The Iranian right winger should be a pretty decent addition for Brighton and Hove Albion, but I still don't think that puts them into the top 5. I think the likes of, obviously, Liverpool, West Ham, Arsenal, Fulham and Wolves have probably still done the better deals overall, because Brighton have obviously got rid of a lot of players as well. But let me know what you guys think about that in the live chat. But of course, you know, this is a live update. It is time to have a look at what the live deals have been literally released after the transfer window has shut. Obviously made before the transfer window, otherwise it wouldn't have gone through, but they've been released after. So let's have a look who we've got. So, Andre Gomes is... oh, no, we already know that, sorry. The deals that have gone through after the deadline day is shut include Everton. Andre Gomes at Everton from Barcelona. Wow, so they've made 3 signings in about 20 minutes' time. So Everton have signed Andre Gomes. Will he be good at Everton? Well, we're just going to have to wait and see. But I think that is a pretty good deal because he's a decent player, this Andre Gomes. So Everton, you know, they've waited this long, but they've now made 5 reasonable money signings. So Everton haven't done too badly at all. But they're not the only one. We have some more breaking news. Swansea City have signed the former Cardiff left-back Declan John. I don't know who he is. He doesn't sound that good. But Swansea have signed him. So, yeah, I think there's not really a lot I can say about the former Cardiff left-back Declan John. But Swansea have apparently signed him. Swansea... I think Swansea went down anyway last season, so he's not someone that's going to be making a splash in the Premier League, because I don't think Swansea will be going straight back up. But Stoke have made some good deals overall, so they could be going straight back up, including loaning in Benik Afobe. Anyway, some more breaking transfer news, and we've got Huddersfield. Now, Huddersfield have signed someone. Who have they signed? Mbenza. They signed him on loan. He's a Belgium under-21, and they signed him from Montpellier, the French Ligue 1 club. When David Wagner said, when we first spoke, it's clear that he is a real winner. But I'm not done there. Oh yes, West Ham have also been doing some late transfer business, and they have signed Carlos Sanchez. Now, we saw him in action for Colombia at the World Cup, but now he's going to be in action in the claret and blue of West Ham. So they signed Carlos Sanchez just in time. It was released on their Twitter account at 1 minute to 5. The other done deal that I've not said yet is Brighton, and they have signed the centre-back Dan Burn from Wigan. The fact he's come from Wigan doesn't really sound that promising, but, you know, Brighton, they signed I've forgotten his name now, Jahanbakhsh, was it? Jahanbakhsh, and apparently he's dead good, so maybe this Dan Burn guy will be good as well. You know, Chris Hughton's got a good eye for a bargain, so, you know, Chris Hughton, is said that He's happy, he's delighted to welcome down to the club. He's got a wealth of experience from his time with Fulham, Birmingham City and Wigan, amongst others. So that is all of the deals that have happened after the transfer deadline shut. Obviously, the deals happened before that, but they've been released after the transfer deadline. And that is the penultimate live update. I'll just give you one last update at the end of the stream. But for now, I think that will be it for the transfer window. So a roundup still to come. But before that, I started talking about the one-to-watches in FIFA 19. We've got Cristiano Ronaldo. We've also got Thomas Lemar. But the third and final one-to-watch released already is this man, Leon Goretzka. Now, Goretzka has gone on a free transfer from Schalke to Bayern. He went there on loan the second half of last season, and now he's officially a Bayern Munich player. He is a very, very high-quality player, Goretzka. You just look at his FIFA card if you want to know it all, don't you? 84 pace, 76 physicality. He can do the defending, passing. He's got everything to his game. And Liverpool looking to sign him in January, but just missed out to Bayern Munich. Obviously, he'd rather sign for Bayern Munich than us, despite us getting further in the Champions League. I'm not sorry, you know, just a bit disappointed, but Goretzka has decided to stay in the Bundesliga and move to Bayern Munich. Now, for Schalke, obviously this is poor, but the manager did say that he's done everything in his power to try and what's it called? Everything in his power to try and hold on to Goretzka, but as he's gone to Bayern Munich, you can't really stop him. It's like Coutinho, you can't stop him achieving his dreams. You can't stop him going to the bigger club. So there's not a lot Schalke could have done, but obviously they're missing out on a very talented young player. Bayern Munich have done well. Bayern Munich have signed a very good player. And yeah, he should be a good addition to the Bayern Munich squad. So I think Goretzka is a good signing for Bayern, especially considering he was free. So, this is one of the moments you've all been waiting for. Which Liverpool player do I think has been the best signing? Well, I have already done the montages of the first three, of Shaqiri, of Fabinho, and of Keita. So far, Fabinho leads the way. Fabinho is on 24 out of 30, Shaqiri 23, and Keita 21. Maybe fairly, maybe unfairly. It's up to you guys to decide. But should Alisson be number one? Well, you're about to find out in the next 3 minutes or so, because it's time to roll the Alisson Becker montage. So then, Alisson Becker is the last Liverpool player to review. Will he get top spot? Well, we know I need to review him in the 3 areas of VAR: the value for money, his ability, and how required he is. So we'll start with the value for money. And we have to pay, I think about £60 million. Hang on. Excuse me one moment. 3, 2, 1, drop it. Anyway, where were we? Oh yes, value for money. So we paid about £60 million for him, which means that pretty much maximum you're going to get value for money is about 7 out of 10, the same as Keita, who was also getting towards 60 million. Although I do think that Alisson is a bit better than Keita, so in terms of ability out of 10, I have given him a very solid 9, which is the same as Fabinho. Both very, very good players, and Alisson is an exceptional goalkeeper. He is bordering on world class, and this season, if he wins the Golden Boot, which he could well do with a great defence in front of him, and yes, Lovren is a world class defender, I'm not being sarcastic, he is very good, and you got the likes of Van Dijk, he's a world class defender, Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, I'm not joking, world class. So with those in front of him, he's got a great chance of getting the Golden Boot, and he will become world class. So I'm giving him a 9 out of 10 for his ability based on the season at Roma anyway, but if he kicks on at Liverpool, he could easily be 10 by the end of the season. The other one is required. Now, is he really required? The answer to that is a definite yes. We do need a world-class keeper. We've not had a world-class keeper since Reina, and could you even call him world-class? I'm not sure. He was very good, but since then we've had the likes of Mignolet, we've had the likes of Karius, Bogdan. You know, we've not had anyone that wonderful, whereas Alisson should hopefully be the wonderful world-class keeper that we've been after. So in terms of necessity, in terms of how required he is, he's very, very, very required. We definitely need him if we're going to kick on and challenge for the title and even win the Premier League title. Karius cost of the Champions League, yes, he did have a concussion, so you can let him off for that, but at the end of the day, he cost of the Champions League, and if Becker was in there, he probably wouldn't have made those mistakes, even if he was concussed. So, in terms of the required score out of 10, I'm going to have to give him a 10, and that's the first time I've given any player a 10 in this series so far. That means that it has put him at number 1 on the board. Yes, that means that Alisson is Liverpool's best signing of the transfer window this summer. All the scores are in the 20s, which I think is pretty good. He's got 26 with 7 value for money, 9 ability, and 10 out of 10 required. Brilliant work from Alisson, and he has been Liverpool's best signing this summer. So, do you guys think I was right to put Alisson at the top of the chart? Is he Liverpool's best signing? And is he one of the best signings of the transfer window overall? Out of all the players, out of all the signings, is he up there with the best? Let me know in the comment section. But, speaking of the best players overall in the transfer window, it is time to do my top 20 transfers throughout the summer transfer window. So I'm going to do my top 20 right now. I've not chosen any free players or any loan players, so I can try and use the value for money as like one of the options in deciding which is the best transfer. But I've chosen some of the most expensive transfers and put them in an order in 20th to 1st place, and these are the best 20 signings of the window so far that went for considerable money. We will start at number 20 with Richarlison. Obviously this isn't including the deals that have happened in the last half an hour or so, but number 20 is Richarlison. I don't think he's the best signing. I don't think he's a brilliant player, but he had a great first half of the season last time out, and he could be really good at Everton. We're just going to have to wait and see. I think Richarlison, he's got a lot to offer. He's still young, but he's not the world-class player that a lot of people are making out. And £35 million is probably a bit too much. 19th place, I have gone for Golovin. Golovin has has transferred this summer. Obviously had a great World Cup, and he signed for Monaco. Obviously they've lost Lamar. Is he really the replacement for Lamar? No, he's not. But is he still a good player? Yes, he is. He is still a good player. We saw that at the World Cup. Obviously, you've got a festival football card in FIFA. But Golovin, we've seen, is okay. But he's not Lamar's standard. So for Monaco, this is not the best deal, but it was necessary. They did need to find a replacement, and they have found a replacement. Golovin is to be welcomed to Monaco. In 18th place, we have Javier Pastore, who's gone to Roma. Now, I've put him in 18th place. It's still pretty low in the charts, out of the top 20. It's an okay deal. I don't think he's the player he once was, but he's still a decent player. It's not really going to shake things up, though. It's not going to give Roma a better chance in the Champions League. It's not going to destroy PSG. It's not the biggest transfer I've ever seen happen, to be honest. It's not a massive one. Pastore is a good player, but he's not incredible, so we can't really get too hyped about this one. But, of course, Pastore is transferred from PSG to Roma. In 17th place, we have Maddison, who has gone to Leicester from Norwich. And I think Maddison is a good player. And not just from Boya Nation harping on about how good he is all the time. Yes, he's not quite a Morris replacement, but he is a very good player. We saw what he did in the Championship. He was one of the best players. I think he took them like the most shots. He got a load of assists, and he got a few goals as well. He's a good player. He's a useful player to have in your team. He's not Mahrez. He's no Mahrez. Alright, let's get this straight. He is no Mahrez at all. They cannot replace Mahrez. A team like Leicester cannot replace Mahrez, but they've not done too badly with this signing. And some of the other signings they've made, like the likes of Johnny Evans and obviously Danny Ward from Liverpool, Leicester have done alright considering they had to get rid of Mahrez. But Maddison is a decent signing, but obviously he won't be at the high-end stuff because we've still got some absolutely monumental deals still to come. So he won't be at the monumental end, but he's still a decent signing. Into 16th place, and I have decided to put Yarmolenko, who's signed for West Ham, in there. Wow, what a deal for West Ham. Yarmolenko signed for Borussia Dortmund. It didn't really hit the ground running, but we know what a good player he is. He's a very, very good player. Actually, I'll tell you what, he did hit the ground running because he scored a 1 goal in his debut, but after that he didn't have the best time at Dortmund. He is capable of more, and I think he may well achieve it at West Ham. West Ham have done so well in the transfer window, which is why I put them in 2nd place overall behind Liverpool. But hopefully he'll be able to link up with the likes of Felipe Anderson, the likes of Marco Arnautovic, maybe even Jack Wilshere. They've got some good players in that team. And David Moyes, scratching his head, decided who to put in his first 11 because they've got some very strong players and they've had a very good transfer window. But Yarmolenko could be one of the best, which is why he is in the top 20 at number 16. But moving on up, and at number 15, we have Fred, who's gone to Man United. I had to include him in there because he went for so much money. You know, he went for nearly £50 million. But is he that good? Yes, he is a good player. He's not £50 million worth, though. He's not a Naby Keita. You know, Keita went for pretty much the same amount of money, and Keita is a hell of a lot better. But Fred is still a decent player, a decent addition to the Man United squad, and he's an improvement, of course. That's what United are looking to do. They're looking to improve their team, and they have done with Fred. They've got some players, some in, some out. But Fred is one that's definitely going to improve the squad. So it's not a bad transfer, but it's not one of the, you know, monumental top-end ones, which we'll find out in a minute. Let's move on to 14. 14 is Ricardo Pereira, who has signed for Leicester City. This is one of Leicester's very good new deals. And again, he's not a Mahrez replacement, but, you know, he's a player that can... He's a piece of the puzzle, put it that way. He's one of the pieces of the puzzle of Leicester. Can Leicester break back into the top 6? They've got a chance because they're signing good players like Ricardo Pereira. He's got to be in the mix, you know. He's a good player. He's right back, used to play for Porto, so he's got some Champions League experience. That should hopefully help Leicester if they are looking to ever get back to the heady heights of the 2015-16 season. But yeah, Pereira is a very good player, and it's worth putting him in the countdown. So 14th place for Pereira, in my opinion. But let's move on up, and then we go to 13th. Who have I put 13th? I put Keeper, or Kepa. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but it's like Keeper or something. He signed for Chelsea on Well, no, it wasn't deadline day. It was yesterday, wasn't it? He signed for Chelsea yesterday for, wait for this, £71 million. £71 million. How ridiculous is that? Keeper, my word. I'm sorry, but 71 million. That's his release clause. So obviously, Chelsea have paid way more than they should have done to sign this geezer. Is he a good player from his time at Bilbao? I don't know. He must be, though. If Chelsea are going to sign him for that much, it's either him or it's either he's really good or there's just no one else available. But I'd like to think it's because he's good, to be honest. But they got rid of Courtois the other way, and Courtois went for about half the price because he's in the last year of his contract. So that is poor business from Chelsea in terms of the financial business. But overall, as a swap keeper for keeper, or Courtois for keeper, they might not have done too badly overall. So we're just going to have to wait and see before we can really judge keeper. But obviously it's got to be in the mix because he went for that much money. Second most expensive transfer of the whole summer window behind Ronaldo, I think. Let's move on into 12th place. So we have Felipe Anderson. Well, here's another one of those mammoth signings for West Ham. He should be able to link up with the likes of Yarmolenko, Jack Wilshere, Marco Arnautovic, who they already had. This could really be a very good season for West Ham. I said it last season, though. They made some good signings last season, and they ended up coming 13th when I said they come 6th. This season, I put my faith in them again. I said they come 7th. They might even break into the top 6, you know. They are a very good team. And this signing of Felipe Anderson might help their case. But let's move on into number 11. And number 11 is Leno to Arsenal. Leno's a great deal for Arsenal because they've been crying out for a new keeper after some of the mistakes that Cech has made. So Leno should be the answer. He's a bit better than Cech. I don't think he's as good as Alisson. I don't think he's as good as the likes of De Gea or Edison, but he's still a pretty good keeper, right? And Leno is an improvement to the Arsenal team amongst all their other defensive signings who, I'm sorry, they've had some brilliant defensive signings. They've had the likes of Socrates, they've had the likes of Lichtsteiner, Torreira defensive mid, who we've yet to see in the countdown. And who else have they signed? They've definitely signed someone else. Yet I cannot think. Oh yeah, they signed a guy I never heard of. But overall, you know, Arsenal have done pretty well in the transfer window, and Leno is a good addition. But let's move on into the top 10. And who have I put at 10? None other than Radja Nainggolan. Nainggolan somehow has moved away from Roma. That's not really having help in the case. I suppose Pastore is supposed to be like the replacement for Nainggolan. I'm not sure if they can really count that, but he's gone to Inter Milan. He's 31 years old, so he's getting on a little bit, but he's still got plenty of years left in his contract. So Inter Milan have done pretty well to sign him, and if they're going to look to break back into the Champions League and start performing well in there, they could do with players like Nainggolan to help them on their way. So 10th place, I've gone for Nainggolan, a pretty good player, you know, a player that we'd be stupid to overlook. He's a fantastic player and he deserves a place in my top 10. But let's go on and let's move into 9th place. Who have I got for 9? Oh yes, it's another Arsenal boy. It's Torreira. Torreira, the defensive midfielder. They've been crying out for a defensive midfielder. Oh yes, they have. They had Granit Xhaka. He was dreadful, or is dreadful even. He still plays for them. They got Mohamed El Neni, but they're not the kind of players that Arsenal could do with to sort out their defensive midfield spots. Therefore, we have Torreira instead. Now, Torreira is the replacement. He'll be starting almost every game for Arsenal, and he probably will be putting in a good performance. If he doesn't put in a good performance, it ends up being a flop. Then they might end up switching back to Xhaka, and then all the problems start again. This is kind of one of the reasons I've still put Arsenal in 5th. Obviously, a new manager they've got to get used to. Got to have a transitional phase with the new manager, and these signings are not guaranteed to be good, so I can't put them much higher up. But let's move on into 8th. In 8th place, I've gone for Liverpool's Naby Keita. Keita, I gave him I said he was Liverpool's worst signing this summer. I've not included Shaqiri in the countdown because he was a bit cheap to use. I've only gone for more, you know, high-priced players, so we can just compare who's done the best for all the people that have spent a lot of money. But Keita is the first Liverpool player in this countdown, and there will be 2 more still to come, obviously Fabinho and Alisson. But yeah, Keita is a fantastic player. He's apparently a bit hot-headed, you know. He's got a few red cards last season, but I think with Klopp's pressing style, he will absolutely flourish. His hot-headedness won't really be an issue because Klopp will calm him down, will discipline him, and he'll get disciplined from the rest of the team. So I think Keita will be fine in that respect. But in terms of his abilities, I've already gone through his abilities, his dribbling, his passing, his shooting, everything about Keita is brilliant. He's a centre mid. He can play box to box. He could play in defensive mid if he wanted to. I'd rather see him in that central attacking mid role. But wherever you play Keita on the pitch, he's going to be a brilliant outstanding player. So let's move on into the top 7. We have gone with Courtois. Courtois has gone to Real Madrid on a 6-year contract, and that was potentially the biggest deal of deadline day. Courtois has left Chelsea. We knew it was going to happen though, because Chelsea signed that keeper geezer yesterday. Courtois is a great deal for Real Madrid. He's one of the best keepers in the world, undoubtedly. He is up there. He's probably not the best keeper in the world, but he's definitely up there, and he's probably better than this keeper guy that Chelsea have signed to replace him. I would say he's better than Keylor Navas. I think Real Madrid have strengthened their team by bringing Courtois in, but it should be an interesting competition between Courtois and Keylor Navas. Who's going to get that starting role? I think Courtois should get it, and I think it's a very good deal. And for £35 million, it is an absolute steal. Into 6th place, and we're getting into the meaty ones now. Fabinho has signed for Liverpool for just, I think that's something about £40 million, £39 million. So it's a very, very good deal because he's a world-class player and at a reasonably cheap price. This is why I said he was Liverpool's second best signing, because he is our best outfield signing. Because he's so good. Like, he's not going to flop like Bakayoko. He's going to stay there in that defensive midfield spot, keeping, anchoring that midfield, making those tackles, and moving the ball quickly and playing the passage. Behind him, you've got a really solid back four. Virgil van Dijk, a proper leader. He's a very good player. Lovren is developing massively. He's a fantastic player these days. And Lovren, he called himself one of the best players in the world. I agree with him. Honestly, a lot of people have joked about that. I think he is getting towards one of the best players in the world. One of the best centre-backs in the world. He's getting there. He's a very good player. And under Jurgen Klopp and next to Virgil van Dijk, he is absolutely shining. Obviously, we've got Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold as the fullbacks, and they're going to have an even better season, especially Trent, I think, with these new signings as well. Honestly, I think Trent's going to have such a wonderful season, and Robertson's going to have another brilliant one. And, of course, Alisson in net, one of the best shot stoppers in world football. Liverpool got a very good team defensively now. Last season, it was more a very good team attacking-wise. Now, it's attacking and defensively, and Fabinho has really helped the case. Let's move into the top 5. We've got some massive transfers, and this is a player that I would have liked Liverpool to sign as well. Jorginho, he's gone to Chelsea. It went for quite a lot of money. I think it was about £50 million or so. So it went for quite a lot, but he's worth it. He's a very, very good player, and he will fit into that Chelsea team. He will play really well. He will potentially be one of the players of the season. I've rated him so highly. I've given him 5th place. I would have loved him to come to Liverpool. He's been so good at Napoli, but he's gone to Chelsea. I think he will have a successful season in there. Does it mean Chelsea will get top 4? They've got a chance of getting top 4. I put them 3rd in my Premier League predictions. Maybe that might be too high. Maybe they might get 4th in that Champions League race. But I still don't think they will be challenging the likes of Man City or Liverpool to the top spot. I think it's going to be a 2-horse race. And I hope it's going to be a 2-horse race this season. So as much as Jorginho is a brilliant player, I don't think he's really going to push Chelsea that high. But let us move on. And into 4th place we have Riyad Mahrez, a Premier League winner with Leicester City, and he's gone to Manchester City. This is awful for Leicester, but to be fair, who was always going to give? They were always going to lose him, so they might as well lose him now than try and hang on to him and get no money at the end of next season. So they might as well get the £60 million for him. He had to go, but it is a great deal for City. City have got some brilliant options. They've got now Sané, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, even Raheem Sterling, because he scored a lot of goals last season, although he's had a poor World Cup. I wouldn't be surprised if Sterling was left out of the team now, because Bernardo Silva has been playing well in pre-season. Riyad Mahrez is now a new signing, and he is better than Sterling, in my opinion, quite comfortably. And Sané as well. And those three, with De Bruyne, you can't put any more attacking players in there. And what about David Silva? You've got so many options for City. They're going to be so good. But hopefully it means that they will probably put 2 attacking teams out. They will try and take the games to the opposition too much, and hopefully be able to be exploited at the back, like Liverpool managed to do to them on multiple occasions last season. City will not be undefeated this season. City will be beaten because they will be forced to play so many attacking players just to keep them happy. So it will be a struggle for City, but I still think they're going to be in the title race. They will potentially win the league, but I do think Liverpool have got a big chance of winning the league. Well, let's move on into the top 3. We have 3 transfers left. And in 3rd place, I've gone for Lamar. I've already gone over Lamar in my want-to-watch review. I think he's a fantastic player, and I would have loved him to come to Liverpool, but he's not. He's moved from Monaco to Atletico Madrid. Awful for Monaco. They're losing their best players at a really fast rate now. But Atletico Madrid have done so well to get him. Atletico Madrid have done absolutely brilliantly to get a player as good as Lamar, who can defend as well as attack. He does go forward with loads of pace, but he can also help defensively. He comes back on himself, but then he goes forward, and that'll suit Atletico Madrid's style so much. So I think that he'll have a very, very productive season at Atletico Madrid alongside Griezmann. There's only 2 players left. I've not mentioned Liverpool's final player yet, Alisson, but I've also not mentioned Cristiano Ronaldo. Who am I going to put as my best signing of the summer 2018? Well, Ronaldo is a better player than Alisson, but Alisson is young. Alisson is only about 24, I believe, and Ronaldo is something about 31. So Ronaldo's getting on a bit. Ronaldo probably only has 2 years at his absolute peak before he starts deteriorating in his last season or 2. So Juventus might not get that many seasons out of him, but he's one of the best of all time. There's no doubt in that. Whereas Alisson is not one of the best of all time. Yeah, he is a very good keeper, one of the best shot stoppers right now in world football. But does that mean, even though we got him cheaper and he's younger and Liverpool need him so much more than Juventus, well, I would say than Juventus need Ronaldo, but Juventus maybe do need Ronaldo if they're going to win the Champions League. So it is interesting between these two. Ronaldo's a better player, but is Alisson the better signing? Well, I have said, pause for dramatic effect, that Alisson is the second best signing, which means that Ronaldo is number 1. Alisson, I've already gone through Alisson. He's been brilliant at Roma in his last season, and now he's signed for Liverpool. Liverpool really do need a new keeper. Obviously, Karius Costa the Champions League final, but I know that was because he was concussed. Fair enough, but even still, since then he's been lacking confidence in pre-season. He spilt some easy balls. We have needed someone to step in and become our new keeper, and Alisson will be that player. He's only conceded 1 goal in, I think, a game and a half he's played so far. And that was against Napoli, I think, in the 3-1. But Karius got a great reception when he came on. And I think Karius will be staying at the club. Well, in fact, Karius is staying at the club because the deadline day is over now. Karius is staying and he will be our B choice keeper. But Alisson will almost certainly be our A choice keeper throughout the season. But of course, that means Ronaldo is number 1. And you could say it's obvious, but I did have a think about this. I did think maybe I should put Alisson ahead of Ronaldo because Liverpool need him so much. But Ronaldo is one of the best of all time, and if he wins the Champions League with Juventus, he will be the greatest of all time, the GOAT, better than the likes of, I don't know, Pele, better than Messi right now. I think he's the best player in the world right now, and he will become the best of all time if he can win the Champions League. And of course, that makes him the best signing of the window. So that is my top 20. That is it. It is done. It is over. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed that. But that is, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What you think, who you think has been the best signing. But I think Cristiano Ronaldo has got to be number 1. So that pretty much brings this show pretty much brings this show to an end. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it all, of everything that has gone on. But we'll finish with one more live news update. And here we go. The final live update is to come. It's at the end of the episode. And have there been any more deals since I last checked? I do not think so. I think it is done. I think it is over. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh no, hang on, Stoke have got Sam Clucas. Okay, well that's not a big deal anyway. But apart from that, I think that's all the transfers have gone through now. So that is it now. Oh, hang on, 1 second. Fulham have signed Sevilla goalkeeper Sergio Rico. Decent. Fulham have done well, to be fair, this transfer window. They've been one of the best teams, and considering the position they're in, a newly promoted side, to get such brilliant transfers like Rico, like Schürrle, they've done phenomenally well. So well done to Fulham. They're obviously in my top 3 teams for the transfer window this summer. Maybe this should even be 1. Maybe I'm just being biased with Liverpool. But I put West Ham above them. Maybe this will push Fulham even higher, considering the position they are in. But well done to Fulham for making such brilliant moves in the transfer window. Yeah, and that's it. That is it. Brighton have also signed someone, a 17-year-old midfielder, Peter Gualgis, but that's it for the mammoth deals. That's it, yeah. Harry Arter to Fulham. Interesting. That could still happen, but it hasn't done yet. But I think that's it for the transfers. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. That pretty much brings it to a close. If you've enjoyed it, please don't forget to give me a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And I think that I am done. So I'll catch you guys later. Adios. Final word from me. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This was my second ever live show. I hope that it's gone smoothly. Everything has gone to plan. But please don't forget to subscribe. I'm nearly on 500 subscribers, so it'd be lovely if you could help me get there. But that is it for today. We'll enjoy one last chorus of Kevin Beloved Gala and Ella. Brilliant tune, but that is it for today. I'll catch you guys on the next video, and adios.